Man is a being in search of meaning. Each man is capable of doing one thing well. If he attempts several, he will fail to achieve distinction in any. Better a good enemy than a bad friend. No man should bring children into the world who is unwilling to persevere to the end in their nature and education. When the mind is thinking, it is talking to itself. The highest form of pure thought is in mathematics. All thought begins with the recognition that something is out of place. If a man neglects education, he walks lame to the end of his life. The first step in learning is the destruction of human conceit. A dog has the soul of a philosopher. Complacent ignorance is the most lethal sickness of the soul. Friends should have all things in common. Your dog is your only philosopher. If there is no contradictory impression, there is nothing to awaken reflection. Tyranny naturally arises out of democracy. Ignorance, the root and the stem of every evil. In order to seek one's own direction, one must simplify the mechanics of ordinary, everyday life. A house that has a library in it has a soul. Lessons, however, that enter the soul against its will never grow roots and will never be preserved inside it. In an honest man there is always something of a child. Atheism is a disease of the soul before it becomes an error of understanding. Music is the movement of sound to reach the soul for the education of its virtue. Our need will be the real creator. I prefer nothing, unless it is true. True friendship can exist only between equals. To suffer the penalty of too much haste, which is too little speed. More will be accomplished, and better, and with more ease, if every man does what he is best fitted to do, and nothing else. It is fear and terror that make all men brave, except the philosophers. Yet it is illogical to be brave through fear and cowardice. The whole life of the philosopher is a preparation for death. Access to power must be confined to those who are not in love with it. At the touch of love, everyone is a poet. Of all the animals, the boy is the most unmanageable. No one can escape his destiny. Equals, the proverb goes, delight in equals. A man who really fights for justice must lead a private, not a public, life if he is to survive for even a short time. Take charge of your thoughts. You can do what you will with them. If you think your child's academic studies are more important than the arts, think again. Watch a man at play for an hour and you can learn more about him than in talking to him for a year. Rhetoric is the art of ruling the minds of men. Attention to health is life's greatest hindrance. Wonder is the feeling of the philosopher, and philosophy begins in wonder. There are three classes of men: lovers of wisdom, lovers of honor, and lovers of gain. Wonder is the beginning of the desire to know the beautiful and the good. The wrong use of a thing is far worse than the non-use. To win over your bad self is the grandest and foremost of victories. I fast for greater physical and mental efficiency. To be conquered by yourself is of all things most shameful and vile. I will prove by my life that my critics are liars. Knowledge is the rediscovering of our own insight. And what, Socrates, is the food of the soul? Surely, I said, knowledge is the food of the soul. No attempt should be made to cure the body without the soul. Fly from the company of the wicked, fly and turn not back. No man should be angry with what is true. Money makers are tiresome company, as they have no standard but cash value. Arguments derived from probabilities are idle. Ideas are the source of all things. Come then, and let us pass a leisure hour in storytelling, and our story shall be the education of our heroes. Before all, it's necessary to look after the soul, if you want the head and the rest of the body to function correctly. Let brother help brother. The excessive increase of anything causes a reaction in the opposite direction. All I really know is the extent of my own ignorance. To a good man, nothing that happens is evil. Democracy leads to anarchy, which is mob rule. The laws of democracy remain a dead letter. Its freedom is anarchy, its equality the equality of unequals. Give me a different set of mothers, and I will give you a different world. Knowledge becomes evil if the aim be not virtuous. Who are the true philosophers? Those whose passion is to love the truth. To escape from evil, we must be made as far as possible like God, and the resemblance consists in becoming just and holy and wise. For a man to conquer himself is the first and noblest of all victories. If a man be endowed with a generous mind, this is the best kind of nobility. He who love touches walks not in darkness. To love rightly is to love what is orderly and beautiful in an educated and disciplined way. The soul takes flight to the world that is invisible, but there arriving she is sure of bliss and forever dwells in paradise. All men, well interrogated, answer well. I shall assume that your silence gives consent. Please watch these wise videos.